The dismissive avoidant will not message you first. It's like, come on, what's the difficulty, really? Just type a few words and hit the send button. I can explain to you why that is, and it's probably not what you expect. The dismissive avoidant child was profoundly isolated. They were either at the brunt of the criticism of a parent who was accusing them constantly of getting every single thing wrong, regardless of whether they were or not. They were like an emotional punching bag. Either that or the profound neglect emotionally of the child put them in a position where they just observed their own needs. It's like no point in developing a skill of empathy to understand what a carer needs because, in the end, they're not showing up emotionally anyway. The dismissive avoidant child, no different to the adult, has no reference truly of cause and effect. Even the smallest of mistakes for them and attracted as a child huge amounts of criticism and punishment. So they're anticipating constantly getting everything wrong. The fact that they just decided to give up in the end because there was no need at all in trying to predict when something was going to be presented to them as a problem, it happened irrespective. So they just found a way to cope. Disassociation. How do I survive? I'm going to separate my entire world from reality so that I can create an escape for myself. Well, it's part of human nature. We would all do that if we were given the same circumstance where it was impossible as a child for us to avoid these kinds of criticisms and punishments. So you find an avoidance constantly living in a state where they're anticipating that we're about to jump down their throats, get upset at them over something they haven't even understood that they've done. So they just resign themselves to the fact it's going to come. But at the same time, well, it's not a nice feeling to know that the person that you care about is upset with you or could be upset with you over something you've completely been oblivious to. Or maybe you are aware, maybe you know that you've done something, but you don't know to the level to which you're going to receive punishment. Is it going to be huge? Is it going to be small? I don't know. Maybe I can just pretend it isn't there and it'll go away. Maybe I can cover my ass. Maybe I can lie my way out of it. They'll try all kinds of things to mitigate the risk of that threat, even if it's not there. So, because the avoidant is so separated from the reality that we have grown up with and learned how cause and effect works, where if we've done something small, we have a proportionate response, they don't know what that looks like. As a result, can you imagine being in a position where you haven't spoken to your partner for a little while, or even for a short while? It doesn't make any difference to them. The fact that they would reach out, they don't know the tone to which it will be received. They're expecting potentially that there's a problem from our perspective already that they don't know about. So to say, "Hi, how are you?" would attract the response, "I can't believe you would ask me how I am considering what you've done." These are the kinds of thoughts that go through their minds. So you can imagine it'd be a whole lot easier to wait for the partner of the avoidant to reach out so that they can read the tone. And if they say, "Hi, I'm wondering how you're doing. I miss you." Oh, the relief. The avoidant is just like, "Oh, I haven't done anything wrong yet. It's a good day for me." Now, that doesn't really explain then why they don't reply exactly in that moment. Let me explain that one to you. The dismissive avoidant doesn't know how long that moment of bliss is going to last, so they'll extend it out by not replying. They're preserving that as a little gift to themselves. As soon as I reply, that moment may end, and I may discover that I have done something else that I didn't know I did. So here we are, the partners of the avoidant, who are getting frustrated and angry over the fact that the partner won't acknowledge us, remember birthdays, ask us how we're doing. Simple little things you think are consistent amongst all people. But for an avoidant, that's a threat. Emotional vulnerability, at the very slightest, can attract huge criticism, pain, neglect, and abuse. This is their pattern as a child. You have to understand this is a nervous system response, and it's got nothing to do with you. It is conditioned into them at an early age. So if you want to uncondition them, be patient. Give them time to begin to understand that the threat doesn't exist in this relationship. When they do eventually reach over the top of their emotional boundary, as you understand, it is a severe threat to them to be emotionally vulnerable and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" Your response ought to be, even if they have made a mistake, "Yes, everything's great." Let's have a conversation. I've missed you. How are you feeling? You understand that when they learn that making mistakes is part of the human condition. In fact, getting it wrong is 9/10 of getting it right. That's not an experience that they're used to. So give it to them. Show them that it's okay to make a mistake. And all I see really is the energy you've put into the effort to getting it right. And in this relationship, we work out problems as a team. If you get it wrong, we both work it out. If you get it right, we both celebrate. If we can learn that when they make a mistake, understanding that they never intended to cause pain is the first step. And the next step is to understand how to encourage them to reach over that emotional boundary by giving them an experience where they are going to be welcomed, loved, understood, and with far more patience than they've ever experienced before. You may just discover they're prepared to begin to show up more consistently without the fear of that reprisal attack for the thing that they didn't even know they did. Now, this is virtually unachievable if you are other focused, if you're looking to them constantly to give you validation, because if they're not giving it to you, you'll get upset with them. You've got to be self sufficient emotionally and become your own safe space. If you want to sustain a relationship with an avoidant who has this kind of tragic experience that's conditioned them into this response, then ask the right questions. What can I do for myself instead of what can they do for me? If that's too much for you, I understand. You make a decision and walk away from that relationship. No one's going to be critical of that. What I'm going to say to you, though, is if you want to stay present, send me a message because I can help you become that person who's that emotionally stable and self reliant, self confident. And maybe you'll be able to bring out the best in your avoidant partner, too.